Coming up next on News Channel 5 at 10.
I'm Dan Gray. One St. Louis neighborhood is facing a test tonight after a tragedy. Will you be safe if you spend part of your weekend here? I'll have a live report coming up.
Also, vital facts you need to know before you send your kids off to the prom.
And see how a common practice can spark danger in your kitchen. It's all coming up next.
I was excited and a little scared. But the moment I saw my first and then my second little sweetheart, well, just imagine becoming a mother twice in one day. After, the pain was a lot more than I bargained for. I was surprised when the doctor gave me Tylenol with all the other choices they have. But the Tylenol took care of my pain, so I could take care of my new family.
Extra strength Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
It is a responsive dual overhead cam engine, but it's not a Mercedes. It is a highly advanced multiple link suspension system, but it's not a BMW. And it has an airbag with terminals plated in gold, but it's not a Lexus. It's an entirely different kind of luxury sedan. It's an affordable one, the Nissan Altima. It's time to expect more from a car.
Tatum O'Neal, Woman on the Run, NBC Sunday.
We call it roomier by 5.4 cubic feet. Bob Sinclair calls it his troop transport. We call it a quieter ride thanks to liquid-filled engine mounting. Dave Billings calls it his decompression chamber. We call it a standard driver's side airbag and available anti-lock brakes. The Scots call it their security blanket. We call it Corolla, the all-new Toyota Corolla, the brand new car with a familiar name.
Growing, gone. Plants suffer from trouble as varied as nature itself. So turn to the source of advice and good ideas. Ortho. It's our nature to help.
Just how big are the savings during our 139th anniversary sale? Come see for yourself.
Wow.
From Channel 5 KSDK St. Louis, where the news comes first. This is News Channel 5 at 10.
In Soulard, Friday night is party night, but tonight some say the neighborhood has good reason to watch out for crime and criminals. Good evening. I'm Karen Foss.
And I'm Rick Edlund. Thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight at 10. This is the first weekend since the robbery and murder in the popular Soulard neighborhood.
The bar and restaurant owners want the public to know that security measures are in place and that Soulard is safe despite the deadly crime. News Channel 5's Dan Gray is standing by live in Soulard with an update on business activity tonight. Dan?
Well, Karen, tonight seems to be a very busy night for the bars and restaurants in this neighborhood. It's difficult to find a parking space on the streets. It doesn't seem that business has suffered that much since last Sunday's shooting on the streets of Soulard. The sidewalks were filling up on this Friday night. The outdoor patios were places for partying, and hotel vans were delivering out-of-town visitors. Many of the customers gave little concern to the shooting death that happened here last Sunday morning.
We were just discussing that too, actually. And we thought about it coming down before we came down here. Mm-hmm.
It was a concern for you?
How close are we?
We thought about it.
Yeah. But it didn't keep us from coming down. I mean, that can happen anywhere.
I live in the West End. People get shot there too.
Not at all. We haven't. Like I said, we come out for lunch all the time. We don't worry about it or anything like that. So I think it's safe as any other neighborhood in the city.
The business owners here aren't appreciating all of the media coverage they've received over the past week since the robbery killing. As a matter of fact, the Soulard Business Association tonight is recommending that all its members refrain from talking to reporters for a while. The business owners here boast that Soulard has the lowest crime rate in their police district, and there is a police presence here that sends a message of safety to customers. For the past few years, off-duty officers have been hired to patrol the area in a rented golf cart. Now the merchants have gone a step further and purchased the golf cart for use all the time. In addition, citizen patrols add more eyes to watch for suspicious persons. Now, some business owners off camera told me tonight they have seen a drop in their business over the past week since the killing. Others, though, have told me they have not seen any drop at all and that business has been rather steady for this past week. As one bar owner told me tonight, they've spent about 15 years building a reputation as a safe and popular nighttime district here in Soulard. They're not about to let that fade away. One of them said this won't become another Gaslight Square. Reporting live from Soulard, I'm Dan Gray, News Channel 5. Back to you, Rick and Karen.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
An employee at the Fox Theater got quite a scare tonight when she fell down an elevator shaft. The woman apparently opened the door of a freight elevator on the first floor, but the elevator wasn't there. The employee then lost her balance and fell 15 feet down the shaft. She was rescued by firefighters and taken to St. Louis University Hospital, where she's listed in stable condition.
St. Louis County's new satellite divorce court is not a favorite of area domestic relations attorneys tonight. The court, you'll recall, was set up 9 days ago in Florissant, but some attorneys are concerned about security in and near the facility. An informal poll indicates 77% of divorce lawyers do not favor using the Florissant court if the case will run longer than 2 days. 24% favors it. Security was tightened at the Clayton Courthouse following a gun rampage last year, which left 1 person dead and 5 wounded.
Well, the Missouri legislature has adjourned tonight.
As with any legislative session, there were winners and losers. News Channel 5's Ruth Ezel joins us now with details on the big loser. Ruth?
And it affects people right here in the bi-state. The bi-state's MetroLink project is off track and in danger of being permanently derailed. That's because lawmakers killed a proposal for a 1/10 of a cent sales tax that would have been earmarked for MetroLink's operations. Millions of taxpayer dollars have already gone into building the light rails and purchasing the cars for the system designed to run from East St. Louis to Lambert Airport. The project has already had its share of problems, but this latest move could prevent MetroLink from ever going into service. The MetroLink funding issue was one of the few things the legislature failed to act on in this final day of the session. Before adjourning 4 hours ago, Missouri lawmakers approved a health care bill, regulated riverboat gambling, expanded Sunday liquor sales, and approved a $310 million tax increase for schools. Governor Carnahan says he's pleased.
That has been a part of this state government, just like national government, for far, far too long.
However, Republicans called this year's session a flop. Senate Minority Leader Frank Flotrin of St. Louis County calls it a, quote, Twinkie session, full of tax hikes without substance and sure to lead to the decay of the Missouri economy. Now we'll see which side is right.
Yeah, okay. What MetroLink's going to do now? Okay. Thanks,
Good
Ruth.
question. Thanks, Ruth.
Well, it is prom season, and every parent wants his teenager to have the best on that night. But when it comes to limousines to get your kids to the prom, safety is often overlooked. On the Night Beat, News Channel 5's Ken Jones shows parents what they need to know before they rent a limo for their teenagers. Ken?
Quite a bit, Rick. Parents help their teenagers get the best tuxedo, dress, flowers, anything to make the night perfect. But when it comes to a limousine, if they're renting one for their kids, the only question is how much. Usually the feeling is the cheaper, the better.
When you look at one of these things, you just know it's going to cost an arm and a leg for a night. So naturally, the kids and parents look for the best deal possible. Unfortunately, some people in the limousine business say some of their counterparts in the business are cutting corners illegally to bring down cost.
Every limousine that comes in the state of Missouri should have affixed to their right front windshield a sticker from the DOT.
That sticker is a Department of Transportation certification. It's required in Missouri on all commercial limousines. Most importantly, it shows that the company has the required insurance.
You haven't even thought about getting into an accident.
A lot of folks just don't know what to ask when renting a limo. However, there are some things you do need to know that might determine how safe you'll be the evening you're inside. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
I was wondering where your DOT sticker was in your window.
That I don't know what that's for.
Oh, well, you know, you have to have one of those things in Missouri and also on your back bumper to be legal in Missouri driving a limousine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They got them on some of our other limos back there. They don't have it on this one? This happens quite a bit. Approximately 40% of the limousines operating in St. Louis are operating illegal. 99% of those, the main reason is the operation of lack of insurance.
We didn't check it out.
You didn't?
No.
So,
The insurance and everything?
Huh?
No. We had no idea. We didn't have any idea of any of that, just the prices and the limits.
Now, the state requires $350,000 worth of insurance on each car, but many companies carry up to $1 million in each vehicle. The Department of Transportation only monitors limousine companies all over the country and right here in St. Louis, but there are only 3 DOT officers here in the city, so people in the industry are now trying to police themselves, and they've got a big job ahead of them.
Well, the economy is partially to blame tonight, apparently, for 1,000 layoffs in AT&T factory in Massachusetts. The long-distance company says sales are slow and technology has made some equipment manufactured at that plant virtually obsolete. Last year, the factory was honored with a national award for efficient, high-quality work.
President Bill Clinton can rest easier tonight after what he calls a good week for his economic program. The House Ways and Means Committee passed a new tax bill that would raise taxes for a typical middle-income family by $400 a year. Upper-income Americans could pay at least 5 times that amount. The president believes he has much needed momentum for his economic plan.
Who else around this town in the last dozen years has offered this much budget cutting, this much tax increases, this much deficit reduction, and a clear economic strategy that asks the wealthy to pay their fair share, gives the middle class a break, and gives massive incentives to get new investment and new jobs in the small business community and from large business as well.
President Clinton also says he's not concerned about a dip in his job approval rating. The latest poll finds the president's rating at 45%. That's down 10 points from 3 weeks ago.